Okay, now we're going to cover the right side of our GPS tracker. We covered this center section, we covered the objects, we covered basically the left side minus the events in the history. If your screen is filled up like mine, you can't get to all of the right side, you just click on this down arrow and it'll minimize that center video right there. So let's get started. On the trifold here, this is your map view. So if you like a Google normal view, whether you like the hybrid or like satellite overhead, or terrain view, hybrid is the one everyone typically prefers. That's what I would suggest to people to start with. It basically gives you any business names. You can orientate yourself rather easy. So this is where you would change your map view. The plus and minus, this is your zoom in and zoom out. Okay. And then just below it here, you have a bunch of different blue squares. This is your overlay function. This is where you can overlay. This is an overlay manager, right? So, for instance, we see we have some tails here. So this tail just means that this tracker came off of this Broadway street, and it looks like it's parked behind this building right here. Okay, so if I wanted to take that tail off, because sometimes you have cars or vehicles that are making multiple stops, and you'll have this green line all over the place. It's hard to make sense of it. So if you want to remove that from the map temporarily, you just click on it here and just remove it. See? And the next one, show names. We have a lot of businesses such as private investigators, and they're doing screenshots for their clients, and maybe they don't necessarily want them seeing like this device ID or how it's named. So in order to take it off, you just click on show names and it'll take it off. Put it back, you just put it on. Right here, points of interest. If you have any points of interest marked on the map, we don't have any for the demo, but you would actually do them in a different spot. Again, this is just for the overlay feature to show or not show specific things. This is your POI. We don't have any set up for it, but that's a separate video on how to set up a point of interest. All you're really doing is just marking a spot on the map. So if this spot where this vehicle is right now, I wanted to mark it, I could mark it as a point of interest. And again, just like the tail going on and off, the point of interest would go on and off as well. Geofences, if you don't want that to be shown on the screen temporarily, you just would turn that off. Your actual object itself, if you don't want to see that. If you ever do find yourself logging on, you're like, I can't find my device or my icon. If this is unchecked, that's the reason why. So you just click it like that. Fit objects, really it just centers the object again. Doesn't really do much. One of the coolest features is this live tracking. We got embedded from Google. If you click on live traffic, you're going to see that the map now lights up with green and orange and red. So this is really, really, really good to understand a couple things. So a good example would be you're a business, you've dispatched your plumbing guy, and he's stuck in traffic and maybe 10 minutes late to an appointment. If you were managing this as a dispatch or a front office person, you could call the client and say, hey, my guy's running a little bit late. There's a little bit of a traffic on Broadway. The other thing would be if you're actually following this device. If you were following this device and you knew it was parked, you could look at this overlay and make a decision to maybe not take this exit, right? This is going the opposite way, but for the most part, you guys understand. So orange is kind of a little bit backed up traffic. Red is heavy traffic with some sort of delay. And that's the right side. Up here, we have our tools. Alerts and geofence is going to be covered in something different. Routes, if you just want to mark a route, this is what you would use this for. Reports, it's in a separate video. A little bit too much to cover all in one. A ruler, if you needed to measure a distance, you can use this ruler feature. Point of interest, again, if we click that, just click on plus. This is a demo server, you'll have some sort of an icon to match, to mark it. You just would name it, point A, B, and then you can see it kind of right here on the overlay. And again, if I didn't want that point of interest to show, I could click it, click back on. Apologize, this is a demo, but that's how you use that function. Show point on a map you could use, as long as show address as well. Basically, you can type in an address here, and it'll go to that. Specifically, this is the type of address you want to use. So use it in this way, exactly like this. Maybe the street name with a comma, the city, and the county, and then the state and zip code, and it'll pull up that address on the map. Kind of do a reverse lookup. But that's the actual format that you want to use. You can't just type in 22 Southwest Street. It doesn't work that way. The send command we don't really use. There's no commands that need to be sent to the device. So this is basically it. In the tools, in your setup, you have your unit of distance. Most of this stuff is already out of the box set up for you guys. But if you find something like kilometer versus mile and you want to change it, this is where it's going to be. Unit of capacity for your fuel. We're using meters versus feet. You don't really need to ever mess with the time zone. It should always be set to the correct time zone based on where you purchased your tracker. And the daylight savings time, it automatically adjusts in the server. So most of the stuff you don't really need to mess with. If you had groups, say you have several different vehicles in your fleet, you could put this one in group A or group B or whatever, and it would account for different things in the reporting, such as fuel usage, such as speeding, such as maybe time and duration spent driving, right? So there's a lot of different things you can do, but this is what object groups are for. If you wanted to name your drivers, so I'd assign this device to whoever I'd like, say Ryan, and sorry about that. I could save this, and then I have my new driver set for this specific device. So that's all that means. Events really has to do with alerts, geofences. Again, that's a different video. It's just too much to cover all in one. The SMS gateway and SMS templates, we don't really use that, but if you'd like to receive alerts by SMS, watch that video on alerts and events and geofences, and we show you how to set that up. The GPRS templates we don't really use, neither would you. They're predominantly for how your device reports. It's more on the technical. And again, widgets. These are just the different sections of your views. This is a good example. So here, if you don't have Google Street View, and you should, and it's not checked, just if you're looking at widgets here and it's not checked, you just want to call tech support and have one of our administrators go in and check that for you. But everything else for the most part should be checked. So, and that's the end of setup. I think we pretty much covered everything. Again, if you need to change your password, it's here. Membership just basically shows that you have an active membership. And for the most part, that's your entire GPS tracker in your browser window and how you manage it. Tech support, we're here Monday through Friday, around 9 a.m. to 5 to 6 p.m., depending on how backed up we are with helping our customers. But we're always available by email, and over the weekends we also provide support by email as well. So do let us know if you have any questions or you need any training. I'd be happy to help you out. I appreciate you watching this video. Thanks.